Hello people of the internet, it's Officer Dan back with yet another video on the 4th Gen 4Runner that I couldn't find. This one in particular is going to have to do with where my 33-inch tires rub on the body. I'm going to document where I'm going to cut stuff out. So after consulting Google, I have the RRW RR2V. It's a 17 by 8.5 inch wide wheel with a 0 offset. I also have what looks to be 1.5 inch spacers. With 33-inch tires, that creates an issue with rubbage. So the tire size that I'm running is 285 70 17, essentially a 33. So let me show you the few spots where it rubs at full articulation. So as you can see, this is the top of the tire, and this is where it is rubbing here along this edge. So I'm gonna need to trim that a little bit and probably hammer up the pinch weld. The next spot that it rubs on is right here. So from about here on the fender down to there is gonna need to be cut off and removed. There's a 10mm bolt holding the fender flare on. Go ahead and take off. That is already bent to holy hell. We're probably gonna have to relocate that. Yeah, my whole fender is loose because my tire was hitting it. So I'm basically trying to cut the plastic only. There's metal that runs underneath that. So we're gonna have to bend that lip up and then try to find another point to reattach the actual fender so that it's not loose like this. So what I ended up doing was drilling a couple of holes in here, and I'm actually just gonna zip tie this back together. That should hold it just fine, but I'm taking my LFH and I'm banging up a little bit of the lip, kind of all the way across. Of course, this would be a lot easier if I removed the tire, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, just need to grab a zip tie and apply that. Then I'm going to move on to cutting this back section. Zip tie applied, and it's much less floppy than it was before. I will take it. So this one already has had, on the back here, on this side, there's a big pinch weld that's already been cut and smashed flat. So that creates a lot of clearance. Basically the only thing it was doing now was just hitting on the actual bumper itself. So that's what this clearancing is for. Got to clean up the outside of this so the tape can stick. God, this stuff smells so good. It smells like bubble gum. It is so good. By far the best smelling automotive product I have ever used. And luckily, it works pretty good too. So let's just make a nice line. And this is just kind of a guide to show you where to cut. Alright, at this point you should be well knowing that you're fully committed to destroying your car's bodywork. go. Not half bad. So that looks pretty good. I'm not sure if it's quite enough. I did it to the very edge of where the tire was already scraping the paint off, so we'll see if that's enough. I'm going wheeling today, so I'm gonna bring the cutoff wheel with me, and I'm gonna trim it if need be once this thing's at full articulation. But that's the basics on how to trim the rear fender and bumper on a 4th gen 4Runner, since there isn't any videos on this. AKA both jack and shit. So I found a curb in my front yard. Let me flex a little bit, and it doesn't look like I've cut it quite enough, because if that goes out to there, so I'm gonna need to cut about another 1/8 inch off of this thing, and it should clear absolutely fine. So now that I'm covered in the face with hot melty fender debris, I think I've finally got it. Now that I've been able to test it on that curb, I ended up having to cut about 3/4 inch total off the fenders, and I went up a lot higher than I've seen of pictures and stuff on the internet, just to make the fender more round like this. All in all, it wasn't too bad, just a little bit of trial and error. I didn't think that I had anything in my yard that would help me test the articulation, but I found something and it worked. So we're gonna give it the real test today, doing some off-roading. So that's it. You gotta rinse, wash, and repeat for the other side, and then you should be able to clear your spaced out 33s. This is Officer Dan, and I'll see you again when I find something else that there isn't a video for.
Touch the wall.